In this video, we're going to demonstrate how to use forward engineering to create Neo4j constraints based on our project data model and design. As usual, we'll start by opening a connection. We're going to continue working with the World Cup database. Once again, this runs in a Neo4j sandbox. If you'd like to, you could create this exact same database. So we've opened it up and we have our schema tab. We can see there are some constraints already defined on this database, some property unique constraints, and they in turn generate these indexes. But if you recall, we've been creating a design project, and we've created node templates and relationship templates that describe the data model and our database design. We've created several diagrams. I'm going to open this one. And one of the things in a previous video tutorial, one of the things we did was we defined a new node type called country, and we defined a new relationship template called citizen. And our intent with this is to create nodes for each country, and then we would be able to identify for each person what country they're a citizen of. So this design work was done and illustrated in previous tutorials, but what we didn't do was generate the constraints that are needed to enforce what we've designed in our model. So let's take a quick look here. For country, you can see we've created a node key constraint, and that's illustrated here on the diagram by showing you the label and the property that participate in this node key, and also you get the exists constraint as well. That's a part of being a node key. So let's go ahead and open this node template and look at constraints. Here's the node key that we created. Down here, the auto-generated yes index was created as a part of this node key, but we also added an additional alternate index, if you will, on country name. So now that we've reviewed these design changes that we've made in our model, we want to implement those in the database. So the facility for doing that, you go to Project, Forward Engineer. And what Forward Engineer will do is generate create and drop statements for all the constraints. And you can do them in any number of orders up here. And then down here you select which schema objects you want to generate. So I'm going to leave them all checked, even though I know we just have a node key and an index. But let's just go ahead and we'll click on Generate Cipher File, and then we can close. And you can see that NodeEra has switched over to the Schema tab, and in the editor, the Cipher editor, we have the generated create statements. Now it generated creates for every constraint it sees in the design, and that includes these existing node property unique. Now we don't need to create them again. It wouldn't hurt if you ran them, you just would get an error. But let's just go ahead and comment these out. And now we've got our node key constraint and our alternate index constraint down here. And if we click on this, we can run this file as a script. So let's just go ahead and do that, and you can see it created that one, and then it created that one. Over here on the schema outline, you can see there's our node key constraint we just created, and here's our new index. So that shows how you can take an existing database, add some new design constraints, and then implement them on that database. But suppose you wanted to populate a brand new database. Well, let's just uncomment. So now we have all the constraints that we've designed for this model. And let's just go up here and connect I have a local desktop Neo4j instance running. And here it is. You can see it's empty by design. And what I want to do is start replicating that the design from this model. So that's easy enough. We'll just copy all these generated constraints over to here. And we'll hit run as script. And we'll watch while those run. So each cipher statement is run one at a time until they've all executed. And over here on the schema tab in the tree view, you can see, in fact, that all these new constraints have been created. Okay, so that's the summary on how to forward engineer a design. At this point, of course, there's just the constraints that you engineer. There's no create table statements or create node type statements like you would have in a relational database. So really the only thing you forward engineer are property constraints and indexes. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I'd encourage you to watch the additional videos that we have.